Welcome to Celestial Dew, a space where we explore our inner world, where storytelling and spiritual tools deepen our connection to ourselves and the universe. My name is Rocio Celeste, and this is my soulmate and constant companion, Nuga Cosmico. We are here to share our experiences and open a space for insight and transformation. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let's begin this journey inward. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Ascended Master Saint Germain. Have you ever heard of the man who never seemed to age? He was a count in France. He moved through European courts like a ghost of wisdom, and who centuries later became known as the Ascended Master of Freedom. This is the story of Saint Germain, a figure who stands at the crossroads of mystery, history, and metaphysics. The first time I heard about Ascended Master Saint Germain was about 5.5 years ago when I was camping in Mount Shasta with a few friends, and one of the girls in the group was someone I had never seen before, but one of my friends had invited her, and we were camping in Mount Shasta, meditating, doing some rituals, doing some ceremonies, trying to connect with the divine. And I remember at some point we were outside our teepee. I happened to be talking to this woman. For some reason, I started sharing that I tended to have a lot of nightmares and that I was very scared. I was always very scared. I had this tendency of being afraid of the darkness and being afraid of silence and just afraid of sleeping alone, even though I have been sleeping alone for a long time. She mentioned Saint Germain, and she said she had worked with him with a group of people. Like one of her spiritual teachers had introduced them to Saint Germain, and they had meditated with him with the use of a japamala. They worked with violet flame during their workshop. That was the first time I ever heard about the violet flame. And she said, whenever you're scared, take a japamala and repeat 108 times. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. And she said to repeat that 108 times, and that I will see my fears start to disappear. So she said, whenever you're scared, just take a japamala and repeat 108 times. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. And I thought it was interesting. I had no clue who this Ascended Master was. And I didn't know how saying such an affirmation will make my fear disappear. Then when we were done camping, we drove back to LA. We were carpooling in multiple cars, and I never saw this woman again. I never saw her again. I remember her name was Violet. That's so interesting. Her name was Violet. And I never thought about it before until now. That's interesting. She was called like the violet flame. Just occurred to me now. I never saw her again, but her suggestion for me to connect with the Ascended Master whenever I got scared and to repeat that affirmation until my fear went away really intrigued me. And when I flew back to France, I live in the French Alps. When I flew back here, I did some research about this Ascended Master. Like, it kept calling me. I had been so intrigued and I couldn't help but dig more into it. And I was very surprised to find out that he had been an actual figure. He had existed. He had lived on earth as a human being, just like Jesus Christ had. He wasn't just some mystical figure like I had thought. He had lived here on earth. He lived in Europe. He lived in France. He spoke many languages. He was very elegant. He had exquisite manners. He was a chemist. He was a musician, and he was an alchemist. And the word alchemist, wow, that got me. Alchemist. An alchemist. What does an alchemist do? They transform things. We usually think, oh, lead into gold. But in this case, it's fear into love or fear into light. It's like lower states of consciousness into higher states of consciousness, or lower vibration into higher vibration. And I started feeling really attracted to this whole concept of the violet flame, of Ascended Master Saint Germain. And what I also found really interesting was the fact that his place on planet Earth, his vortex, the place that he's associated with is Mount Shasta in Northern California. And that's so interesting because that's the first time I heard about him. The first time I heard about him was when I was in Mount Shasta. And then I flew here to France, and it turned out that he was from here and that he had lived here as a count. And he, like I said, he was a gifted musician, and he fascinated the royal courts of France, England, and beyond. He was elegant. He had exquisite manners. He spoke several languages. He was fluent in several languages. He dined with kings. He debated with philosophers. And he spoke casually of events centuries before his time, as if he had been there. Eyewitnesses say he looked no older than 40, no matter his age. He seemed to not age. His energy was so pure. He was so much light that he didn't seem to age. He claimed to have discovered the elixir of life. And he left behind jewels of impossible craftsmanship and knowledge of chemistry far beyond his age. Voltaire once called him the man who never dies and who knows everything. And then, as mysteriously as he appeared, he vanished. The first record of the Count of Saint Germain appeared in 18th century Europe. Some say he died in 1784. Others say he continued to appear for decades. Unchanged, ageless, eternal. So mysterious. But that's half of the story. In the 19th and 20th centuries, Saint Germain re-emerged. Not as a man of flesh and blood, but as an ascended master. Now, an ascended master is someone who has lived on earth as a human being, like Virgin Mary has, like Jesus Christ has, like Buddha has. It's not an angel or a dragon or a unicorn. It has to be someone that has lived the human experience, and then they reach such level of spiritual awakening, such a level of enlightenment, that they become ascended masters, and then they can help guide humanity, which is what ascended master Saint Germain does with his violet flame. According to New Age mysticism, Saint Germain, who was a count, the Count of Saint Germain in France back in the 18th century, is now an ascended master because he passed, and now he's guiding others. He is the master of the seventh ray, and he is the guide of the new age era, of the new era, just like Jesus Christ was for the last 2,000 years. Master Saint Germain is gonna be for the next 2,000 years. Does that make sense? Think of it like a rainbow. A rainbow has 7 rays, and each ray lasts roughly 2,000 years, and it totals 14,000 years to complete a cycle. And now that we are in the age of Aquarius, we have finished the age of Pisces. That was the era of Jesus Christ. Now we're in the era of Aquarius. This is the era where the masculine and feminine energies are going to be balanced. So we're gonna walk alongside men and women. Like, men are not better than women, and women are not better than men. We're gonna be equal. And Lady Nada is the female aspect of this energy. Just like Mary Magdalene was that female aspect of Jesus Christ. She was that counterpart. So now we have Lady Nada working alongside Ascended Master Saint Germain. Does that make sense? So the last 2,000 years were very patriarchal. If you think about it, the priests, the presidents, the people in power, they were all men. And now we see more women stepping into authority roles. Before we couldn't, like, they burned us at the stake because we were witches, or they called us prostitutes if we worked our sexual energy. We just didn't have permission to use our power, our strength, like we are starting to do now. So Count Saint Germain is not merely a legend. He's an ascended master, and he's the master of the seventh ray, along with Lady Nada. Like I said, an ascended master is a being who has completed the human journey, transcended the cycles of karma and rebirth, and now works through higher planes to guide humanity's evolution. What's Saint Germain's mission? To teach us the alchemy of consciousness. Jesus Christ did this. Jesus Christ did a very similar thing 2,000 years ago. Jesus Christ was a teacher of metaphysics. Jesus Christ was also an alchemist. And he came to show us that God is within us, that God is inside, and that we are all a fraction of God. But perhaps humanity wasn't ready for that. Or maybe his message got hidden whatever it was. This is not new, but Saint Germain comes to show, to tell us this message in a different way, and with a different color. Now it's the color purple, it's the color violet, and it's the flame. I like to work a lot with the violet flame because it transmutes. So that's what the flame, the fire, it's a violet fire. Think of it like a purple fire, like a blaze. It's there burning, and what you can do, you send all your fears, all your negativity, all your thoughts, everything that's not love or peace or joy, anything that vibrates lower than love or peace or joy, send it to the violet flame. Allow it to transmute it for you. This is what I do. I learned to do this through my journey. I learned to visualize myself surrounded by a violet flame whenever I was scared, or whenever I was in a situation that I couldn't quite control, and that I felt attacked by people or certain situations. I would just visualize myself in that violet flame, and nothing external could touch me. And it's very powerful. There are even meditations that you can do. You can find for free on YouTube, pure meditations on the violet flame. Or you can do what I learned to do. Take a japa mala, visualize yourself in that violet flame, and nothing external of you can touch you. And also, if you are doing an exercise of purification, say you're doing breath work, or you're having a catharsis, or you're doing an exercise, especially those of you that are on your healing journey, say you go to a shamanic ceremony, or you're doing a group session, or a group meditation, or breath work, or a static dance. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're in a group setting and you feel like you're gonna release a lot, say emotions, a lot of karma, it could be ancestral, it could be from past lives, it could be from this lifetime. But if you feel like you're gonna release a lot of karma, what you can do is surround yourself in that violet flame and give it the instruction that whatever comes out of you will automatically get transmuted into the violet flame. It will get transmuted. Transmuted means transformed. So it will not go to anyone else or anything else, and it will not stay in the area. It will not stay in the room. It will not affect anyone or anything. So that's one thing that the violet flame does. It's like you visualize yourself surrounded by that violet flame. And if you are, say, for example, say you're throwing up, or you're crying a lot, or you're screaming, or a lot of things are coming out because you experienced sexual trauma, and you see that you're cursing, or you're crying because of war or things that your ancestors had to experience, and you're feeling it because it's in your cells, it's that memory. You send that karma, you send those memories, you send that energy to the violet flame for transmutation, so it gets transformed and it never comes back, so that you can cleanse yourself. Again, the violet flame helps you feel in a way protected from external energies, and at the same time it helps you transmute whatever energy you are releasing from your own being, either from your physical body, or from your emotional body, or from your psychological body, or your mental body, or spiritual body. Doesn't matter. You are surrounded by that flame. That fire will automatically take it and transmute it, and it will not go outside of you, and also nothing outside of you will come to you. So it has two uses, to put it like that. Does that make sense? I invite you to try it. It's free. It's accessible. You can do it anywhere, anytime. I don't use it as much as I would like to, or as much as I should do it more. Because the violet flame is a spiritual energy set to transmute negative patterns. It purifies the soul and dissolves the weight of karma. How wonderful it is to have access to this information now. We can turn fear into faith. We can turn limitation into divine freedom. An alchemist is not only someone who turns lead into gold. Yes, that can be. But how about turning our fear into faith, our limitations into freedom? That's the thing. We get to be free. We get to create our own reality with the words we speak, with the thoughts we have on a regular basis. And that's something that Ascended Master Saint Germain can help us achieve, to co-create our own reality with the universe. How can we co-create our own reality? If you are someone that already does affirmations or likes to talk about manifestation, but you feel like your manifestations are not actually happening or are taking a long time, the delay might be because you still have karma. We don't know. So the beauty of working with a violet flame is that it dissolves the weight of karma. And it purifies your soul, which means that your channel will be more clear. Your channel will be emptier, cleaner. And the cleaner you are, the lighter you are in your body, in your being, the less karma you carry, the less karma you have, the easier and faster that you can manifest. But we have to get rid of that weight that is, can be dragging, right? We can be dragging like a heavy chain, and like our shoulders hurt and it's like so heavy. How much better would it be if we just let it go and then we can walk lighter? Wouldn't that be easier? But how are we supposed to do that if they don't teach us this? They don't teach us this in school. They don't teach us this in our society. At least I never learned, and I never met anyone that had, until 5 years ago when I was in Mount Shasta and this older woman talked to me about it. She had a challenging situation in her life that got her to seek help and connect with Saint Germain. That's how it happened for her. And that's how I first heard about it. And that's how I started digging into it and researching and connecting more and more with Saint Germain and the violet flame and just all the beauty and all the wisdom and all the magic, because it's pure magic. If you ask me, the violet flame, it's magic. We are all alchemists. We all get to turn hatred into love, fear into faith, limitations into confidence. If you feel insecure about playing a sport or singing or speaking in public or dancing, or how about you give that energy to the violet flame and you say, I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. Say you have a game. Say you play a sport and you have to go to a game, but you are super nervous or you're scared, or you think that you may have an accident. You're afraid that you're going to fall off. Our mind can be very controlling sometimes, and it can trick us. And the thing is that we are so powerful that we manifest things, even the things that we don't want. We are all manifestors. We're always manifesting 24/7, whether we are aware of it or not. And because a lot of the time, most of the time, we're not aware that we are always manifesting, we manifest the things that we don't want. Why? Because we are scared. Oh my God, I'm afraid of getting into a car accident. What are you manifesting? They don't teach us this. They don't teach us how to use our power for our own benefit. We learn to be afraid of things. We need to be very aware with the things we say and the thoughts we have, because we are manifesting. Anything you say after I am is a command to the universe, because you are a divine being. You are that part of God. If you say, I am sick, well, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna continue to feel sick because you are saying that decree, I am. If you say, I am poor, the universe is gonna listen. Something out there, it's gonna obey to your command. I like to think of it like Aladdin, like the genius in the lamp. It's like anything that you say is a command, and therefore it must be executed. Why not say, I am capable, I am confident, I am rich, I am healthy? You get to be whatever you pronounce, whatever comes out of your mouth. I am is even mentioned in the Bible, in the book of Exodus, when God spoke to Moses and said, I am who I am. The I am presence is at the heart of Saint Germain's teachings. And in that teaching lies one profound truth, which is that the divine lives within you. He called it the I am presence, the individualized spark of God that each soul carries. When you speak the words I am, you invoke that divine authority, and you shape your reality through the vibration of your own consciousness. See how powerful you are, and see that you are in control of your life. Saint Germain taught that every word and every thought is a creative act. To say, I am love, is to radiate it. To say, I am free, is to begin living that freedom. His message was simple, yet revolutionary. You are not separate from the divine. You are its expression. Nuga Cósmico is an expression of the divine. You are an expression of the divine. I am an expression of the divine. My plants in this house are an expression of the divine. Every living thing and every human being is an expression of the divine. This is why we don't like to invade anyone's free will, because we're intervening with their own creative process. We only get to speak for ourselves. I am. I am healthy. I am capable. I am confident. Whatever you choose to be, if you want to be a dancer, say, decree that you are a wonderful dancer. If you want to be a baker, decree that you are an excellent baker. Whatever you choose to be, you get to be, but you have to clear those dense energies within you. We already spoke about it with the violet flame. The violet flame is described as a fire of forgiveness. We have to forgive. Forgive everything and anyone that caused you harm. You cannot expect to manifest wonderful things and to be in the light if you're still resentful towards your past, towards people in your past. If you haven't forgiven your ex or that old friend that betrayed you. Tap, connect with the violet flame. That living thing that transforms anything less than love into love. What else can we ask for? When we have this resource, when you get to be that alchemist, make peace with your past, forgive anyone and anything in the past. Thank them for the experience, for the learning experience, for the wisdom that learning experience taught you, that teacher brought for your evolution. Forgive. Let the violet flame transmute. Like I showed you, when you visualize yourself surrounded by the violet flame, like I said, anything that comes out of you gets to be transmuted, and anything that is outside of you also gets to be transmuted before it touches you. And when you're invoking the violet flame, your soul gets to clear old energies, restore harmony, and awaken to its divine power. It's not just symbolic, it's a practice of spiritual alchemy. And Saint Germain is the master alchemist guiding the process. A great way to learn more about this process is by reading the book, The Golden Book of Saint Germain. I have the Spanish version here, which I really like, because in Spanish, yo soy, it's written the same way. Either this way and this way, right to left and left to right. Yo soy and yo soy, which I thought was really neat. I am. Yo soy is I am. I just found it super powerful that it doesn't matter in which way you read it, it means the same. Yo soy or yo soy. I am. I am. I am. It's also in the Bible. And the Golden Book of Saint Germain talks about all these techniques, all the affirmations, the different meditations that you can do, the different decrees that you can pronounce in order for you to become that alchemist, to become that powerful co-creator. You get to co-create with the universe. You get to co-create with God, with the divine. You are part of the divine, therefore, you are very powerful. And once you start clearing off that karma and getting rid of layers and layers and layers of karma and dust and dirt, and you become lighter and lighter and cleaner, more light gets to come to you, and the easier and faster that you can manifest, your nervous system will be more regulated. Work with the Ascended Masters. There are so many of them. Saint Germain is one of my main Ascended Masters. He kept appearing to me. He kept manifesting himself to me until I listened, until I paid attention, and until I accepted to learn more about it, because we have to be students. We are students of this. Yes, we are divine and we are powerful and we are that fraction of God, but we still have to learn, and we still have to be diligent, and we still have to be disciplined and persevere, because guess what's going to happen if we don't do that? Our mind is going to start to sabotage us, or maybe our ego. No, I rather stick to this job that pays the bills, even if it's not my passion. I rather work 9 to 5, even if I'm always tired and I don't like this job, and I'd rather be doing this other thing. That's what's gonna happen. A lot of us are not living our passion. A lot of us are not connected to our mission, because we are not in that state of consciousness. We're not in the 5th dimension yet. And that's something that Saint Germain helps us do. Go from the 3D to the 5D. We get to jump. Some of us are in the 4th D. We fluctuate between the 3D and the 5D. Come down. I do it all the time. Sometimes I'm in fear and in doubt, and all these fears and doubts invade me. Then I say, okay, I'm giving my power away. Nope. I get to be love, and I get to be an expression of the divine, and I get to be in control of my feelings and my thoughts and my actions, and I get to create. And I'm like, oh, jumping to the 5D, loving everyone and seeing the divine in everyone. Even that person that appears to be my enemy is a teacher coming to show me something for my own soul evolution. And I get to apply the law of forgiveness. And I don't let negativity interfere with my own process. But I have to be very aware of what's happening, because if I'm not aware, I just go in automatic pilot. Oh my God, I become a victim of what they did to me, of what they said to me, as opposed to me realizing that I actually had created that situation, maybe even 10 years ago, from fear, or 20 years ago. A lot of the things that we are living in our present day are things that we unconsciously created when we were little, for example, without realizing it. Of course, no one's gonna want to wish to be ill, or to get into a car accident, or to get laid off, or to get a divorce. I mean, we don't consciously hope for bad things to happen to us, but we manifest them from fear, from our own doubt or insecurities, without realizing it. So the goal here is for us to be aware that we are manifesting 24/7, whether we realize it or not. And science already proves it. This is how our brain works. This isn't just mysticism. Yeah, it's a lot of metaphysics, but now quantum physics has already proven that our thoughts, our emotions, our words become our reality. I remember years and years ago, I wanted to have a dog. And all of a sudden, I started seeing dogs everywhere. Before, it was very rare that I saw someone with a dog. Once I started hoping for a dog, I started seeing people walking their dogs everywhere I went. And a few months later, I ran into Cosmico, and he followed me. And we have traveled around the world. I didn't fully said, oh, I will get a dog. I didn't write a letter to Santa. I didn't make all these affirmations, oh, I will get a dog, I want a dog. No, but I had it in my heart. I had that longing in my mind. Okay. And it happened. I made it happen. This is how manifestation works. And it works both ways, because it can also work for things that we don't want. If you're hoping for a bigger house or a nicer house to live in, and then all of a sudden you get evicted from your apartment, and you're like, oh my God, what a shame, this is so annoying, how disappointing, I don't deserve this, and you're complaining, instead of seeing the bigger picture and seeing that actually that had to happen in order for your manifestation to take place, in order for you to move into your bigger and nicer house. But if you're so attached to it, or if you're trying to control the outcome, if you're trying to control the how, then you're not letting the divine play its part. Don't worry about the how, worry about the what. Decree what you want and let the how for the invisible, for the universe. The divine takes care of the how. You only decree what you want. Want a different job where your talents and your skills are valued, or where you get better pay? Manifest. Decree, but also work with the violet flame for you to remove karma so that you can become that light that gets the desires that your soul longs for. I really liked working with the violet flame to help me feel protected. I went through a stage in my life where I was having nightmares every single night. And I hate to admit it, but I had one last night. I had another nightmare last night, and it hadn't happened in a long time. And it happened again last night. How is that possible? After all the meditations I do, and all the karma I have cleansed, and all the work I do to feel in peace, I was having this attack. I dreamt that someone had broken into my house in the middle of the night, and I was sleeping here, and they were having their ritual in my own living room. And when they did their ritual, they started breaking things. They told me that they had the key to my house, and that they could break in whenever they wanted to, even if I locked it, because they had access to my main door. And I asked for my key back, and she said no. And we started fighting, and I was in a really bad position. Like I couldn't choke her. And the worst part is that in my dream, this lady was a close friend of mine. In reality, I don't know this person. In the dream, it was a woman that I don't really know. I have never seen before. But in my dream, she was a friend of mine from Spain that I really trusted. And for some reason, she was betraying me. And the sensation was so strong. I woke up. It was like 2:40 in the morning. I was like, oh my God, why am I feeling like this? And I didn't think to start saying the decree. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. Because for all I know, it could be something from a past lifetime, karma from that past lifetime. And so that was a perfect opportunity for me to clean that energy. And I was terrified. I was so afraid. It's like, wow, this hasn't happened in a long time. But it doesn't dominate me anymore. Fear doesn't dominate me the way it used to years ago. Now I feel more powerful. I am more empowered. I am a sovereign being. I am the purity that God desires. I get to clean that energy. Clean that energy. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. I thank it. It manifested for a reason. I got to cleanse it. And it's out. And the more I cleanse, the more opportunities I get for me to clear karma, because it's always going to happen. We're here in this duality, in the physical dimension. It's impossible for us to not have karma. Even if you say that you are so good, you're such a good human being, that you donate to charity, and you never say bad words, and you never lie, and you are a saint, guess what? You still have karma, because you are here in this physical dimension in a physical body. So as long as you are here, you will have karma. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Karma is not negative. It's just memory. Cleanse it, clean it. What happened last night? It's like, my God, I was so terrified. And then all morning I thought, oh my God, I should have just invoked the violet flame and transmute that energy and be in my power and claim that I am the purity that God desires. Instead of being like, oh, again, it's gonna happen again. Well, guess what? As a human being, I sometimes forget. And this was a perfect opportunity for me to remember that this tool exists and for me to invoke the violet flame. And I don't know if it's going to happen again. I hope it doesn't, but if it does, guess what? I am equipped. I'm equipped. Work with Master Saint Germain. He's there for everyone, regardless of your background, regardless of your religion, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your social status. Energy doesn't care. We are souls. We are souls living in a physical body. Our physical body is our temple, where our soul lives. And the Ascended Master Saint Germain comes with that mission to help us connect to the I am presence. I am protected. I am safe. I am divine. I am light. I am loved. I am supported. Whatever it is that helps you. Feel more connected to the source, use it. If you come from a background where your parents were always fighting and you were always scared because you were little and you were afraid of their screams and their fights, that could be also you as an adult. It's you in this big body, but it's your inner child reliving those memories. Like in my case, for example, with the nightmares. I remember being very afraid when I was little and having nightmares. I would dream of monsters coming to attack me with their weapons, their knives and their weapons coming to attack me. I was 4 years old, 5 years old, and I remember those nightmares. The little monsters coming from the back of the house, coming to get me. It's no different than nightmares that I have now 30 years later. But the difference now is that now I get to take care of my inner child. No one taught me that I could use this power, that I could use this tool as a weapon to fight my fear. But the good news is that now that we are older and bigger and stronger, we get to look for resources and we get to find all these wonderful tools and we get to use them. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what people say. If it works for you, use it. That's my invitation for you. If you were bullied at school for being different, or if you had learning disabilities and you really had to struggle and you felt alienated from the rest of your classmates, or if you lived in a very dangerous neighborhood in your city and there were always noises and all this crime around, chances are that those memories are still there lingering, even if you're not aware of them, but they are there. You can meditate with the violet flame, even if there's nothing to remove, which I will be surprised. Because I really think that we all have things to clear of our energy, because we are in this physical dimension. But we don't come in vain. We come equipped. We have all these resources and we get to do the work for ourselves and for our communities, for others, for the world. Together we get to shift the world from the 3D to the 5D, from hatred to love, from fear to faith. Remember, anything that is not love is fear. It can be disguised as jealousy, as insecurity, as insufficiency. It doesn't matter. Those are just labels. But all of them are a branch of fear. And anything that's fear, it's 3D. It's not 5D. The violet flame helps us get to that 5D. The ascended Master Saint Germain helps us ascend to that 5th dimension, where we get to be, where we get to enjoy our lives. We get to be free. We get to be happy. We get to be peaceful. We get to be those powerful human beings that came to earth to be gods and goddesses. Today, Saint Germain stands as a bridge. Between science and spirit, alchemy and ascension, history and myth. Whether you see him as an immortal alchemist, an ascended master, or a timeless symbol of human potential, his message remains the same. That within each of us burns a violet flame. Picture yourself inside of your chest, that violet flame burning all the time. The power to transform darkness into light and awaken the divine within. So perhaps the real mystery of Saint Germain is not who he was, but who we may become when we remember the same light within ourselves. Thank you for joining me and Nuga Cosmico in this episode of Celestial Dew. I hope you enjoyed learning about Saint Germain if you had never heard of him before. I know I had a really good time getting to know him and finding more about him and working with him when I first discovered that he existed. He's a great teacher to work with, along with Jesus Christ. They are two of my favorites. And I cannot say enough. Start meditating with the violet flame, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. Even if it's just you closing your eyes, sitting down in silence and picturing a violet flame burning inside of you and surrounding you. That's more than enough. If you do that every day for a couple of minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, you will start to see a difference in your life. Don't believe me. Try it for yourself. That's it for today. Now we're gonna go for our afternoon walk. And we see you next time. We see you soon with more information on other tools on how to connect more with yourself and the universe. Be the light. Spread the light. Take care and see you soon. Say bye. Say bye.